and welcome to syGlass Academy. Today we're talking about visualization settings for your projects. Open the menu and choose a project. A lot of times when you first load a project into syGlass, it will look similar to this. Looks like nothing essentially. So open the menu and you're going to see a variety of settings. To adjust those settings, we're just going to use the trigger on the back of our controller. So the first setting is stride. Stride can be increased to improve performance or decreased to improve the image quality. If your VR begins to glitch, make sure your stride is up a little higher. The next slider is intensity. Intensity alters the brightness and darkness of the project. Next is contrast. The contrast slider allows for adjustment of gamma correction. And as you can see, if we up the contrast a little on this project, we can see what our data set actually is. This is a CT scan of a chameleon embryo. The next is the window slider, and it has two values. Data less intense than the lower value becomes black, and data more intense than the upper value becomes white. And just so you can see how the next slider works, I'm going to up this bottom one a little bit so you can see outside of the data. So the threshold slider has two values, and data that falls outside of the range of these two values disappears. I'm going to turn this back down so we can see. And you can see how the data that's outside of the chameleon disappears. I'm going to jump around with the settings on the top now, just so you can see more clearly how each of them work. This is the absorption model, and it's going to add a slider to our list called Opacity. This is so you can alter the level of transparency. You may have to go back after you choose the settings at the top and alter the sliders again. So it's a little give and take here and there. But the more you use syGlass, you'll become acquainted with the settings and be more fluid in your choices of adjustments. So if we look up here to the left corner, it says Value Color Map. The Value Color Map option maps the data intensity to a range of colors. The color gradient with arrows in the bottom right corner will give you a variety of different color ranges to choose from. The next is the Depth Color Map option, and this maps colors to the data based on the Z depth. So red is the top and blue is the bottom of the image stack, but I have mine flipped upside down here so you can see what my data set is. The gradient mapping option enhances edges in the data, and it makes boundaries between light and dark parts of the image more pronounced. Maximum intensity projection projects most intense values in the data onto the viewing plane. And like I said, you might have to go back in with the sliders and adjust again after changing the top settings. And finally, we have the surface shader in the top right corner. The annotations that you make in syGlass will be automatically saved. However, the optical models will have to be saved manually with the Save button on the right-hand side of your menu. If your data has more than one channel, each channel can be altered separately under its respective tab. The Global tab will alter all channels at once. The color of the channels can be changed under the icon of a paint palette. Edit the channels manually by dragging the arrows, or choose Use Colorblind Mode.